Good morning. Welcome to the Public Charter School District Title I program overview. Today we will go over the required components of the school-wide Title I program and their timelines. Also, we will discuss some changes that should make things easier both for you and the district. As you all know, we all had a great Title I audit from the State Department. No findings were found, and we had a clean audit. It means we are doing something right. And kudos to all the schools, all the finance people, all the uh, people involved in the Title I program. To make things easier for both for the schools and the district, based on the feedback I received from some of the Title I coordinators, school leaders, and the State Department, and some of self-reflection, I have updated the bookshelf to make it look clean and make sure you get easier access of the documents that you need. An updated monitoring checklist has been developed, which I'll share with you in a moment, which will keep you up with the requirements, the timeline, and the guidance all at one place. Due dates. Lots of times I see school leaders, I mean, I have utmost respect for school leaders, and I believe they have thousand different important things to do, and keeping up with deadlines from several departments, both from the district office and at the school level, and some to the State Department directly. So keep up with due dates. You may have 100. I only may have 3 deadlines for you, but you may have 20 other deadlines to meet for different programs. So to make things easier, I created a federal programs due dates page where all the emails will be posted, all the survey links will be posted, so it's a one shop. You can go there and have all the due dates at one place, so you can keep up with it, or you can assign a person at your school to take care of them. A new amendment template and a budget code template will be created and posted on the bookshelf. I will notify you once it's done. There's no rush because we have time for it for to make amendments, but something easier is coming to help all of us out. My personal goal for this year is to make sure our Title I program plan is approved very soon, no later than September or first week of October. That's my personal goal. And as I told you in my previous emails, I can't do it by myself. It all depends on you. Hopefully this week we'll be turning our plan into the State Department. As you could see on the bookshelf, on the Title I section of the bookshelf, Uh, there used to be several hundreds of links and items, which I took off most of them. I incorporate everything in the monitoring schedule, which I'll show you in a minute. Uh, if you are a new Title I coordinator, this is the link where you go to request access for the State Department member site to develop the Title I plan on the state side. If you are new and you want to learn how to develop a plan on the state side, this is a webinar already recorded for you. You can watch the webinar and always try to use the attendance survey to indicate that you have watched the webinar. The Title I webinar, this particular webinar will be linked here. I don't know how long it will be, but please indicate that you have completed the survey. Uh, Lunch forms are very important. Please make sure the lunch forms are complete. So if the translated lunch applications are here. For you will find different languages and different formats of lunch form applications, so please use them. Please use the updated guidelines when you're verifying the lunch status of the child. Title I program documentation, we talked about the process and procedures. I think my biggest goal, and I want school coordinators to look into the monitoring schedule. This is where I think if you use this one document and go with the timelines, it doesn't matter what audit is, what time it is, I think we'll pass that audit. We will go over it in detail. If you're a CEP school, the guidance is available here. So let's go over the Title I monitoring schedule and see how it's done. In the Title I monitoring checklist, you will see these are the due dates that the item is due, and this is the item that's due, and these are the documents that need to be turned into the district. And the submission type, we have not put anything in the epicenter yet, but that is a requirement as we move forward. A brief notes on what it is, what this requirement is, and few resources. Planning meeting is an essential part of Title I program. This is where you meet with your staff, parents, community, students, and based on the needs assessment collected by data, by surveys, and develop a plan for the next school year. You will see the Title I meeting guidelines here and the difference between planning meeting and annual meeting. Sometimes when schools ask me what is a planning meeting and an annual meeting, planning meeting is one you develop a plan for the next school year based on the needs assessment, and annual meeting is a plan. We Annual meeting is conducted after the school is open in the first month, and that is where you share the plan with the community and the stakeholders and the parents, and let them know what your plan for that year is. Title I plan on the member center. This will be sometime in moving forward. This will be done by June. We will not be moving this by August because we want the plan to be approved sooner. So the plan will be due by May or June as we move forward. And like I said, there is a webinar available on the bookshelf for you to see how to develop this plan. And I already have these two links here. Allowable Title I. What can I spend my Title I funds on desks and tables? No, because that's required for an instructional program. Can I pay for my uh, English teacher? No, because that is a required position. So what is allowable, what is not allowable is available here. And parenting expenditure, sometimes we get confused so much. We want to do right for the parents, and we put activities for parent involvement, but there are only certain things that are allowable under Title I. So these are the two documents that will help you to develop a good Title I plan. Yes, you can pay for your English teacher, but that position should be an additional English teacher. Non-discrimination statement should be available on your website. The sample is here. It is basically the district non-discrimination statement. Please change it to your language and avoid names of people rather than the position, because people change, positions don't. So have a position so you don't have to change it each year, and sometimes the person leaves the school and the person name is still on the website for a year. We have gone through that before. So kindly make sure, just a suggestion, to have a title rather than a person name. Parent involvement policy, there is a district parent involvement policy. A sample is here. There is a checklist on what components that are required, a very important component of Title I. So the sample is right here, and you can add that additional information because each school is unique. So kindly develop your school improvement policy. That should be given out to the parents in the first week of school. So please do that. One more important component of Title I, because parent involvement is a huge part of Title I. So when I say every component is important, but parental involvement is a huge component of Title I, and that's why these documents are very essential. School parent compact is just a contract, a written agreement between the teachers and parents. They don't have to be signed, but you have to show the evidence that you have sent it out to the parents. One copy is good enough, but the very important component, the template is right here. The school parent compact is here. Make changes to meet your needs, but it's right here, and it should be given out in the first week of school. And all these you do your part by giving out to the parents, and once all these activities are entered into epicenter, once you get the reminder, and if you are not familiar with what epicenter is, different time, different story, I'll explain you once it's up and running. But like I said, it's due in the first week of school. And this year my goal is to work on deadlines to make sure that the schools have sent this on time. Parent right to know in a Title I school, qualifications of the teachers is very important, because if you say it's a Title I school, these children need additional services and additional funds to meet the meet the expectations, educational expectations, and a qualified and skilled teacher is very essential to make that happen. So this is one-page document to let the parent know that if they want, they have the right to know the qualifications of the teachers. A district will send out a letter out to the parents. We'll send it out to the schools to send it out to the parents, but please use this sample to send it out to the parents that they can always ask you for the qualifications of the teacher. So the sample is right here. Change it to your school name, put your logo on it, however you do it, but please make sure you send it out to the parents. Title 1 annual meeting in the first month of the school. The plan may not be approved yet. You can have an informal planning meeting, or whenever you have parent meetings, you can talk about it once the plan is approved. But make sure in the first month of school, talk to your parents, have a planning meeting, and like I said, your agenda, announcement, sign-in sheet, your meeting notes are something we ask for. So talk to your parents what your plan is. Why did you make those decisions? Why did you hire a reading specialist for your third graders? Why not a math into so these kind of conversations, and have those meeting notes with you, like, and like if you could see the guidance, it's right here why we do this and what are the components of it. Principal attestation letter, like I said, the law says we need to have certain percentage of highly qualified teachers at the school, though we have a flexibility of so as per charter school law, we have some flexibility that 25% of our courses can be taught by non-HQ teachers. You do the math and you run your Power School reports to see if you are 75-25, making sure that yours 25% courses are taught by. You don't have to. If you're 100%, that's well and good. I think that's good. But if you could not find teachers, or if you have a math professor coming from a university, a doctor coming and teaching a science class, if you have certain staff and you're meeting the law by the 25% of courses taught by non-HQ teachers, that's fine. But it is one page, yes or no, and you can. This is the principal has to do it. You don't have to send it out to the parents. Just complete it and put it in the file for you to submit through Epicenter. Lunch forms, all your lunch forms, not one, not two. I'm not going to do a lunch audit for one or two students this year. All your lunch forms have to be submitted to the district, and you don't have to email me anything. I will send out this year. I'm trying to create a Dropbox file for each school, and every Title I coordinator will have access to it. Just drop the files into the Dropbox folder, and I don't have I will try to sample some lunch forms, and the reason we do it based on what my experience with and basically with the charter school, we are so unique. And when the state came to audit us, all the lunch forms that I have collected from the schools, they went through each one of it, and because we had some schools that has done some fraud in the past, and some of you are aware of it. Uh, just having that lunch forms for that particular school year will help me justify that these are the coding in Power School is correct. So I'll randomly do my checks using the lunch forms that you submit, but those lunch forms can be submitted into the Dropbox folder. You don't have to email or upload them into Epicenter one after one. But in the first month of school, whenever you get a chance, upload all your lunch forms one time. You do it one time in the school year, the PDFs into the Dropbox folder. The district of residence audit. Make sure you collect your district of residence for your children, for your students. Update them each year. Send a mass email or a notice home that, hey, if you have moved, this is the time you turn in your new address proof. That notification will suffice. Will meet the expectation that you have given option for the parents to give us a new address proof, but it has to be updated each year. But that notification will do. Make sure that you have at least one document that meets the requirement of proof of residence. And this document here in the resources page will give you a list of documents that are acceptable for a proof of residence. List of teachers by Title I. And this is something, the few next sections are somewhere we moved the timelines. That list of teachers paid by Title I, job descriptions, salary split, highly qualified verification. These are something we used to do at the end of the year each year until now. But I think based on this Title One audit and the stress I have gone through, some of the school leaders have gone through, I don't want either of us to go through this again. uh, I know things change once, and especially when our plan was, and the reason we did that in the past is not because I want to give you a hard time. The plan was never approved until April, and by the time it's approved in April, the amendments were so huge, your entire plan changed. So there was no reason for me to collect all the information of the teacher names at the beginning of the school year because they all changed at the end of the year. But unlike this year, our plans, I'm very certain that they will be approved very soon. So you know who your teachers are. I don't think you'll be having massive Title One amendments. There's no reason because you will know you know you're a Title One school. You know you'll get the funding. So things have changed this year. So I just want to collect this information ahead of time. The list of teachers who are paid by Title One, and we will make sure I have that list with me so we can collect the time and effort documentation, we can check at the payroll. All that information is done ahead of time. So at the end of the year when we have the district auditors or we have any audit, I have it with me and I don't have to go to and fro with you. A sample template will be provided and what format you send that information to me. But a sample will be provided to you very soon. Job description. This year I'm collecting the job description of that particular employee who is paid from Title One. Just want to know what their job responsibility is. That percentage of the time he's spending is justifiable. So job descriptions are required for all those employees who are paid per Title One. Salary split. As some of you know, we how the state auditors have send multiple emails and same salary split they wanted exactly the way they want, and I am using their sample moving forward, so I can collect it at the beginning of the school year how you are planning the salary to be given to the employee, what is the percentage, does that meet the job description. If you're saying 50%, the job description should say what their activities are for those 50% of the funds paid from Title One. So we'll be using the salary split document that the state said this is a very good sample, and I'm not, on the hindsight, I think that's a good sample. It splits on from if you're paying from Title One, it shows how much you're paying for Title One. If you're paying from other funds, it will show you how much you're paid for other funds. It helps you for time and effort. For me, it's a lifesaver. And I believe for you as a school level, it's going to really help us to make sure all the documentation for the teachers are as good as especially time and effort. And for the district auditors, they can't thank me enough because we struggle a lot through this. At the end of the year, trying to do calculations in June, July has been a nightmare. So I think collecting it in September will really help all of us. HQ verification. I will personally go to the State Department this year and make sure our title, our HQ report has been verified on their 45th day, which will be immediate because in the past we used to do at the end of the year, and I don't think it's fair for you, me, and the parents because the State Department verifies your highly qualified status and tell your school has met 50% of. We have some certain situations when it says only 50% of the school is HQ. At the end of the year, it changes, but this time we'll make sure that they do a clear review of your HQ status and we get a good report on your 45th day. So if you have to send HQ letters or if there is anything that you can do, that I think that will really help us. HQ letters is something that district auditors are very keen on, one of the very big requirement of Title One. So we'll use the report from the State Department's 45th day count to send those letters out or to actually check for compliance. Have the letters been sent? So as you all know, we use this document for the state audit too. I send a report to you, ask you to verify why these are non-HQ, and if they are non-HQ, have the letters been sent? We will do the same, but we will do some right after your 45th day count, sometime in November, rather than at the end of the year when we have missed the deadlines. HQ letters, like I said, very important requirement of Title One. Like I said, I used to ask at the end of the year, and one or two cases we have seen for some teachers, very few teachers, like the letters were sent after me notifying the schools or asking the schools about the HQ letters. We want to avoid that. We want the parents to know that their child is not taught by an HQ teacher. We'll have some compliance places set up this year. So we will start in October to see, based on the 150, based on the 45th day count, to see if the HQ letters are gone out. The sample is right here. If a classroom is taught by non-HQ teachers more than 4 weeks, the HQ letter has to go out to the parents, letting them know that that class is taught by a non-HQ teacher. Perhaps in some situations there may be out of transfer teachers, out of state teachers who are working on the certification. You can always give the justification that why the teacher is not HQ, but the sample is right here. You can just change your school name and send it out. In December, I'll send out a parent survey. I spoke to a lot of districts, and they say and I think a lot of this to do is for the online schools. They do an amazing job sending out the parent survey, and we get like 1,500, 2,000 parent surveys done each year, which is very significant. I think that's a good number, and I do my best not to look at the survey, because I don't want involvement. I let the school leaders make a decision on it. I split the survey by school and send it out to the school leaders. As of today, school leaders can check. I have never asked a school leader that, hey, this parent said something on your survey. Can you? Never have I done that, because I let the responsibility fall back on the school leader. I split the survey and send it back to the leader. So if you don't want to use the survey that I sent, please see the questions that I have on the survey, and you send out your own survey. As long as we take feedback from the parents, I think it's very important for your needs assessment, for your planning meeting. So kindly use the district parent survey, or you can use your survey, but have some kind of data collected from the parents. The time and effort documentation, it's a nightmare for us, because we are not a traditional district. I can't ask my finance person to run such and such report of all the employees. It falls back on 31, 32 different finance people, and each have their own opinion and timelines, and it has been really hard. I think in the past, but I think I'm certain that using the collecting the salary split documentation in September will help us tremendously collecting the time and effort documentation. If you are new to Title One, time and effort documentation is basically a requirement, a huge requirement of Title One. If you are taking federal funds, you are subject to maintain a record of your activities spent with the funds spent on Title One activities at the school level. So uh, there are three types of time and effort documents. One is a single cost objective, multiple cost objective, and a time and effort without fixed schedule. Uh, uh, s- the description is right here, but I'll explain it anyway. Single cost objective. If I am paid 100% of my salary comes from Title One, 100%. I don't do general. All I do is Title One. That's when I say Title One, I'm a teacher, but my 100% of my salary comes from Title One. I do a semi-annual certification, certification, which is two documents. You do one in December, one in end of the school year. Just those two documents, and you're done. Two documents, school name that you worked on 100% of your activities or Title One activities, and that you're good. Multiple cost objective. If you're working in the morning, you're working on it as a social studies teacher, and in the afternoon you are a ELA teacher paid from Title One. It means you have two different funding sources. One is general funds, one is Title One funds. Then you use the multiple cost objective time and effort. It's a very simple form. It tells how much percentage of your time is spent from general funds and how much of your time is spent from Title One. A simple document, and you need to submit your schedule, like a Power School schedule or a schoolmate schedule, some schedule that shows that morning you're working on certain with general funds, in the afternoon you're working under Title One. A schedule, you need to attach a schedule, and you can do it monthly, you can do it weekly, you can do it twice a year. That's up to you. Time and effort without fixed schedule. What it does is, like, it's like me. I deal with Title One. My salary comes from Title One. My salary comes from IDEA, but I'm not a teacher in the classroom. I don't have a schedule. One day I'm at a school visit. One day I'm at a conference. One day I'm at an office. So I don't have a fixed schedule. My day depends on day to day. It changes. So it's like a calendar. I just put what I've done. At the end of the day, I have to justify that my certain time, my time. This is the time I spent on Title One. This is the time I spent on IDEA, and this is a beautiful spreadsheet. Please use this document to document your time and effort. And like I said, this is a very one of the very important requirement of Title One. Professional development activities. Most schools should, especially for a Title One, you need to train your teachers, you need to train your staff to meet the needs of your children. I think that any school should do it, and because especially it's a Title One school, you have more needs. You have a very different student population coming in. So sometimes it may be classroom management, sometimes it may be culture, sometimes it may be parent involvement. So all those professional development that you do for your staff, please document it, because it all shows that the school is making efforts to meet the needs of the children. So you try to document the agendas and sign-in sheets that you have done it, not only taking the federal funds. These documents, these activities can be paid through general funds. Everything you do is for the student achievement. So document all those sign-in sheets and agendas. If you send teachers to the conference, have all the documentation at one place each year. And if you want and have a Title One copy, just copy it and have a copy for Title One create. Parent involvement, same thing. Parent nights, pancakes for fathers, or no, donuts for dads. Anything you do, have the documentation available, because parent involvement, I know we are charter schools and we do an amazing job of parent involvement activities. So kindly document it. We do it, but if it's not on paper, it didn't exist. So kindly document it. Equipment, simple, nothing changed. But this year, one thing I want to make it. I think I have given a lot of excuses. I have worked with the schools. I always said, okay, we'll pass it this year. But I think this year we have to come to a stage that it's a very clean process. The process is clean. Maybe it's me, but I think this year I like to make sure that I hold the schools accountable doing that. If you put you'll be using $50,000 to purchase equipment. You before it's up, even the plan is approved, you have to use the link here to let the district know that you are purchasing the equipment. And 90, there's never I have said no. It's already approved, but it's just for us to know that you have looked at the right options. You're buying the equipment. Once you do that, then you can. I will in 24 hours. I'll respond and say, hey, go ahead and buy the equipment. Once that equipment is at your school, you will tag it, you will put a sticky note, you will put a Title One equipment, and put all the equipment into an inventory template. The template is right here. Put the barcodes on it, put the serial numbers on it, and just send it back to me. If you want to dispose the equipment, you will use the same link here. Stolen, lost, you will this link to notify me that this is gone, and if it's lost, a police report has to be attached. So you will use. It's a very clean process at the school level, and this is something I learned based on the monitoring checklist from the state. When you're checking out equipment to the parents or students, there should be a way you should document that process. So the samples are right here. If you are checking out to the teacher or the parent, there are some sample documents. You may have something already with you at your school, but you need to have a process in place that you are the equipment that's leaving your school should have a form or if a teacher is taking it to her classroom, you should have a document where when it's going in and when it's coming back. One thing I want to do this year, and my plan is, if you haven't requested the school district before purchasing the equipment, I don't I think I have to work with my finance people on it, but we will try to see we will have to hold the reimbursement for that item because you have not followed the district process. I think that we have to go that route because I think the more, and even at the school level, when you're doing purchases and one person shouldn't be making decisions. I think it's multiple people need to be involved. At least three people need to be involved when you are approving a process. You're buying an equipment. It's just the title one coordinator cannot just go ahead and buy the equipment. I think it should. Yeah, the title one coordinator put in the plan, submits to the principal. The principal approves it, and then the finance person approves it. I think there should be a chain of at least two or three people that approves the plan, and I think that is what we are trying to do here. Is before you buy the equipment, you talk to the district and we approved. And like I said, 99%, 100 times we approve the plan that you sent us. But kindly let us know before you buy the equipment this year, starting this year, please. Paraprofessionals, this is huge. Uh, Paraprofessionals need to meet certain requirements, and we always run into these issues. And like I said, that is my fault. I try to do this at the end of the year, and by the time we do it at the end of the year, it's too late. The teachers are non-HQ, and they don't meet the requirements. And uh, our goal is to collect this information. The number of paraprofessionals have to meet certain requirements as per Title One at the school level. If they don't meet the requirement, we have to talk about options. They can take an assessment at the State Department website, and the link is right here. So you can always use that link and ask the teachers to go and take the certification. And the requirements of what is documentation needed for a paraprofessional to be qualified. The documentation is available here. They need to have a secondary school diploma, uh, completed 2 years of study at an institution of higher ed, obtain an associate's degree. So all this is here, but also they can be qualified taking the survey, taking the assessment here. Make sure that your paraprofessionals meet those requirements. Uh, this is very important, one of the very important requirement of Title One. They have to work with a highly qualified teacher at the school level. That should be documented in their schedule. Basic things, and like I said, I will assist you with that throughout the year. Like I said, we will check on this in September, so there is room to make adjustment. There is room to assist you rather than being non-compliant at the end of the year. Annual evaluation, it's a 4 question survey, not a survey, it's a 4 question document. Talks about how did you use the plans or did you use the plan efficiently. So that document is here, and instead of the PDF format, I use the Word format this year, and we do it in sometime in April. The document is right here, and the submission type will be through Epicenter. So once you're done with this, and I think next year as moving forward, things will be very smooth because trying to do the planning meeting this year in July was tough for everyone because by the time the school was over and you didn't have parents or students with you. But moving forward, I think we'll have a very smooth Title One program. The fiscal audit, which is required for all schools to do it, we got all the binders for this year, and hopefully we'll do the same for next year. And the binders will, there's no way we can collect them sooner because the reimbursement process ends in sometime in July. So I think you need time to gather all that information from your finance people. So hopefully we'll keep our deadline around July 20th. The samples are right here, the expectations are right here. So please review the document for me. Hopefully this timeline will help you to make sure you don't miss deadlines, know what's coming, no surprises. And if you we may add one or two things as we move forward, but I think following these, I think we'll have a very good Title One program. uh, we can show to the state and the community that we operate good schools, and we can show that doing these, when we take federal grants, federal funds, we follow and meet compliance. And like I said, we are trying something new this year, trying to identify schools early and get the approval process. So there's so much going on, but I'm sure that we will assist each other in the process and make sure we'll have a great school year. You all have my contact information. Call or email if you have any questions. And thank you. And if you want to leave feedback about the process or the timelines, shoot me an email and I'll work with you. And if I have to change, and there may be a reason behind it, I'll try to explain it to you. And but if it's reasonable, if something I didn't think about, I would love to make changes. So please let me know. Thank you. I hope you all have a great school year.